Hi, my name is Raquel, and today is it's February the 5th, 2017, and welcome to my podcast. Thank you to all new and returning viewers, and I'm coming to you from Porto, in Portugal, which is in the north. If you hear noise, the dogs decided to start eating at this particular point in time. We've just been outside because yesterday it rained the whole day, and today I woke up, it was nice and sunny, clear blue skies, and took them outside, and not even 5 minutes after I walked in, it started pouring down with rain. It even turned into hail, and now it's clear again, so I just took advantage of it being dry outside to take them outside for a walk, and they've just come inside and decided to start eating now. So yeah, I have 2 finished objects, but I can only show you one because the other one's a test knit that I've done for Tin Can Knits, but it's they requested not to show off any of the finished items online until the pattern is released. So I will show you the yarn, but I can't show you the actual finished object. It's going to be a hat and mitten set. I won't tell you what I tested for them. I will be doing the other. I've done one, and I will be doing the other one, although I don't have to. I want to make a matching set. So I'll start with that one because I can show you the yarn, and it's going to be a colorwork set. Very simple. I did it really quickly yesterday. And then I'll go on to the other finished object, which I can show you, which is the shawl. So I used some yarn from Stash. That's my goal this year, to use up as much Stash yarn as possible without buying. I'm not saying I'm not going to buy any yarn. I might come across a pattern I really want to knit and not have yarn for it, and then I will buy it. But I'm going to try as much to knit from Stash. So these first 2 I'm going to show you. I bought these at Knit Nation in 2011, and these were in a reject bin because they've been spun up, and I can show you actually on this one. This is an alpaca wool blend. Can you see here? Let's see if I can show this. Over here, it's like, it has these little tails. Let's see if I can get closer. So it's been it wasn't up to the standard, and I can't remember which booth I bought them from. I should have written it down at the time, and I didn't. But I do remember that this was a wool alpaca blend, and I got these 2 colors. So it's like a gray and a very dark gray. And we have visitors today. Mr. Rusty saying hello. He needs a haircut. Can't even see his pretty eyes. He needs a haircut. That's not very nice, Rusty. Huh? Start burping on my podcast? That's not very nice. Off you go. Anyway, so this was my main color. This was the second contrast color, and then I had this left over for my first contrast color. This was all already leftover yarn, so this was not like full skeins that I had. I've used these 2 before in a Rika hat where I alternated colors, and then so I had I believe I had 61 grams of this one left over and 63 grams of this one left over, and I used now 38 grams of this one and 20 grams of this one, and this is a Rowan Pure Wool DK. It's not the superwash one. This is before they did the superwash, because this is pretty. This was like a de-stash from a friend several years ago, and I've used this in another Tin Can Knits test knit that I did as well, also color work. And seeing as I only needed a very little amount, I used this one. I had 15 grams to start with, and now I only have 6 grams left, so I used 9 grams of this. And so yeah, this is a test knit that I did for Tin Can Knits yesterday, real quick, and once the pattern is released, I will show you the finished item. I'm hoping to have enough to finish the other part of the set. If not, I have one that's slightly darker than this, and I suppose I don't have to be 100% matching. I'm thinking of making this the main color and this the second contrast color. We'll see. Depends on what I feel like doing today, because I got up quite early this morning. I did a whole bunch of housework. Then what did we do then, Dakota? Then I sat down and finished off the test knit, and I just spent the last 2 hours chopping vegetables that I bought yesterday at the market, so I can freeze them, and some of them are already left aside to make the soup that I'll be doing later once I finish this. Dakota is now sitting here beside me wanting to be petted. So that was the first finished object, which I can't show you. Here she is. Come on, Dakota. Okay, here you go. Say hello then. Hello, hello, over there. Camera's over there, Dakota. Over here. Say hello. No? Okay, off you go then. So, second finished object was the shawl. I showed you last week, and I was halfway through the second part of section 2. And I finished that, and then I did... My goal was to finish this by the end of January, which didn't happen. The brioche, the first couple of rows of the brioche, for some reason were not... I wasn't getting it. I mean, I know how to do brioche, two-color brioche. That's not fun. I guess it was just, it's a very thin yarn, and stitch count wasn't right, even though before I started it was correct, and then when I started doing the brioche it wasn't adding up. And then the bind off took me basically the whole day yesterday and Friday evening, because it's just, I had 617 stitches at the very end, and to make it, I was doing the I-cord like loosely. I didn't want to go up a needle size because I'm already doing I'm using lace weight yarn on 4mm needles, and it was already really loose. So I was trying to do it with just the 4mm, but it was getting too tight. I did like maybe 10 centimeters and I had to undo all that. It was too tight. So then I decided to double up the yarn, the black. I'll show you the colors first. This is all drops lace. So I had the black, and then I had like an ice blue, a white, and then I still had like a little bit of black. I started with the small skein in the middle of the shawl, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I started with 19 grams in this ball, and then I wrote it down. I didn't have. No, I don't have it there. But yeah, I remember last week I said I had the white and I didn't know if it was going to be enough to do the brioche section. I was correct. I didn't even bother trying to knit the brioche section with the white because I only had 10 grams left. So I picked up the blue, which I still had plenty of left. So I did the blue and the black. Swim with white. I did these two colors for the brioche section. And so for the I-cord bind off, what I did is I took the small skein, the small wool ball I had left over, and I paired it together with this. And the reason it ended up being so long to bind off was because I did the I-cord and cast off one of the stitches, and then in between every stitch I cast off, I did just one normal I-cord row to make it stretchier, because even doing doubling the yarn, it wasn't stretchy enough, and now it's just the right amount of stretch. I have not blocked this because I only finished this yesterday, and I've also not woven in any ends. With this yarn I prefer to weave in the ends after I've blocked it. So I'll show you now the finished shawl, and it's huge, and it's, like I said, it's not been blocked yet. So it's, let's see, at the moment it's my wingspan at the moment, but I still have to block it, so we'll see how it is. So here you have my eye shawl, and that's one side, the middle, and then the other side. And I'll show you a close-up of the brioche, which is what it's going to look like when it's completely stretched out. If I'd not done the extra row in the I-cord bind off, this would not stretch the way it stretches now. So I'm happy I did that, and yeah, it did take a long time. Friday evening, I was just so fed up with it. I just I just threw it aside. I got maybe a third of the bind off done, and I just put it aside. So what I did yesterday morning was selected the yarn for the test knit that I did, and just did a whole bunch of ribbing for that. Did that during an hour in the morning or something. Then I went out. I had to go downtown because I'd ordered some stuff, and I went to check, but it hadn't arrived yet. And I went to drop something off, and then I came back home because I ran all my errands downtown. Came back home as it was still dry. Like yesterday it rained a lot, like really a lot. It was gray the whole day through. I dropped my car off at the garage, I parked the car in the garage, and I grabbed my grocery bag and I went to the market and I bought the vegetables that I prepared this morning. And then I just started on the rest of the I-cord bind off, and I just went straight through. It took me the rest of the afternoon, and then in the evening I picked up the test knit. So that's it for finished objects, and I have nothing else on the needles. Like literally not a single thing on any needles. What I'm going to do today, while I'm editing this, well, I have to edit the podcast, I have to go make my suit, and then I have to upload the podcast. So what I'm going to be doing is picking up my pinwheel blanket, these little things, and I've already started. This one is is the first square, and I already started weaving in ends, as you can see here. There's still half to be done. These are all still to be done. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to select yarn for the next two, because I'm doing a 6x8 square blanket, which is going to be a big enough blanket to put on my lap. At the moment I'm using this blanket, which is a double-sided blanket. You can use both sides. This is the Kex blanket by Stephen West. This was part of a cal, the Westies Besties cal, I think in, I believe 2013, but go check my Ravelry page and you have the dates there. So this was one of the items I made. I started off with the Kex scarf. I did that in Holst garn, and then I made this blanket, the Kex blanket, out of Rowan Felted Tweed DK. And again, this was done some time ago, but check my Ravelry page for all the information. I believe I did this on 6mm needles. So yeah, this is one side. Has like a fun little section over here, and then if you turn it around, because on the side it looks like it's just plain knitting, but it isn't, because on this side we have slipped stitches. So I can use it both ways. And right here, you see that? That was Mr. Rusty, who I left the blanket in the living room by accident. Usually when I this was like maybe like a couple of months after I made this, I knew that Rusty liked to use this blanket to like make a little nest out of, and so I tended not to leave it in the living room, or at least out of his reach. But I guess I forgot one day, and when I came home there was a hole in there, and yeah, but like I've been using the blanket, I washed it, it's not unraveled. I made a knot because he actually tear up the, let's see if I show you again. So the brown, it's just hanging here loose. I've woven it in but it's not unraveled. There's a knot in there, and then the green is also got a knot in there somewhere. But yeah, I really like this felted tweed. It's really nice and soft. Rusty. Okay, whatever. So this is the blanket. Yeah, it's like a lap blanket. I wash it and I just lay it out flat to dry. I don't block it or anything. I don't stretch it out or anything. It's a nice size. So my idea is to make another one like that, but using these little blocks that I've made. And I can show you all 4 of the ones that I have here so far. So this was the first one, and I've shown these before. This was the second one. Let's see if I'm like making them each block kind of themed. So this was all RGO yarn. This was all my first RGO yarn. This was all yarn I used in the sock knit along during March last year. So basically these were all Harry Potter socks. For the Donna Maria Cal last year, which is going to happen this year again. And also for Katie from Inside Number 23, she was doing the Harry Potter along, so I knit only Harry Potter socks, and these are the yarns I used. And then this block was from all the socks that I knit during October, which was also a knit along I hosted along with Donna Maria last year, and which I'll be hosting again this year. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to start weaving in ends, choosing yarn for the... I've already written down the yarns I want to use for the next 2 blocks. And then the idea is to... so I'm hoping to get these the other 2 blocks done today. And then I'll be using this fabric, which is color 107. There, 107, and I bought 1306, and I bought this in 2015 during the sale that Drops had at the time, where all merino wool was like 35% off. Knitting the pinwheel blanket on my wooden needles. No, they're bamboo needles. In the meantime, I couldn't remember the name of these needles, but I went online to Lindcraft, which is the shop I bought them in Australia, and there's Sullivan's bamboo knitting needles, and they say they only have the 25 centimeters, but this to me looks like 20 centimeters. It doesn't look like 25 centimeters, but okay, whatever. And then, so those are the ones I'm using to actually do the knitting of the squares, and then I'm using this 3.5 millimeter crochet hook that I bought at Ovelha Negra to do the crochet border, which I'll be doing with this color all the way around the blanket. And that's it. I'm planning on maybe, for today, I'm just working on the pinwheel blanket. I just want something simple after doing this horrendous I-cord bind off. And I usually like doing the I-cord bind off. I don't mind it, but the sorry, the yarn is just so thin, even doubled up, and it was just taking a lot of time. Took a lot more concentration than it usually does to do the I-cord bind off. So I do have several sweaters that I want to knit. So I might, while I'm knitting on the pinwheel blanket, decide which one I'm gonna start on, and then tomorrow I'll cake up the yarn, because I need to cake up the yarn for the majority of the sweaters I have planned. And maybe that'll be my big project for this month, or I'll wait with the sweaters and start the Persia blanket, which I really want to start as well. But I need to cake up yarn for that as well, and I don't really feel like caking up any yarn at the moment. The yarn for the Persia blanket is going to be balled up. It's too heavy to go on the ball winder. So yeah. For the rest, I've there's nothing much going on at the moment. Just regular work stuff, which I've already said I'm not going to talk about because it's no use. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not going to. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to discuss work stuff. So I've just been walking my dogs, playing with the cat and the dogs. They were very clingy yesterday. Don't know why. I don't know if it was the weather or not. Rusty at the moment is staring out the window, watching the world go by, so to speak. So yeah, that's it basically. I know these last couple of episodes have been short, but I've not really had that much to show you. Maybe now that I finished the shawl and I've finished the commission sweater that I had last week, I can start working on my projects again, and then maybe I'll cast on a couple of things and have some more stuff to show you. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm gonna really stop it here because I see a dark cloud coming this way and it's gonna start raining in a minute, and I want to upload this podcast so I can go prepare my soup because it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I've not had any lunch yet. But that's okay. I'm not even hungry, so okay. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, or whenever it is you're watching this. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.